The Reckoning. AI's Silent Invasion of Everything. A documentary. January 23, 2024. New Hampshire. 5,000 phone calls. An automated voice. Calm, presidential, unmistakably Joe Biden. "It's important you save your vote for the November election," the voice says. "Voting in the primary doesn't make sense." Except Joe Biden never said those words, never dialed those numbers, never approved that message. It was artificial intelligence, a deepfake. $6 million fine. Later, criminal charges filed, but the damage was done. Thousands of voters deceived. Democracy manipulated by an algorithm in the span of hours. This is the world we live in now. Not the science fiction future, not the distant tomorrow. Now. By the way, if you're liking my content, consider subscribing for more action-packed stories. Let's continue. This is the story of how artificial intelligence stopped being a tool and became a force we can no longer contain. How it infiltrated elections, erased jobs, devoured energy, surveilled our movements, and armed our weapons. All while we watched, mesmerized by chatbots that write our emails and apps that generate our art. This is the story of the reckoning. Part 1. The First Domino. November 30, 2022. OpenAI releases ChatGPT to the public. Within 5 days, 1 million users. 2 months, 100 million. The fastest growing application in human history. Faster than Instagram, faster than TikTok, faster than any technology humanity has ever created. And everyone wants a piece. Google scrambles to launch Bard. Microsoft integrates ChatGPT into Bing and Office. Meta announces Llama. Amazon unveils Titan. Every tech giant racing toward the same cliff, terrified of being left behind. By early 2024, something shifts. The enthusiasm, the wonder, the novelty. Reality sets in. Because AI doesn't just help us, it replaces us. Part 2. The Displacement. Start with a number. 77,999. That's how many jobs AI eliminated in the first few months of 2024 alone. Not over years, months. 342 layoffs, 491 people every single day. Customer service representatives, data entry clerks, copywriters, junior graphic designers, market researchers, translators. The jobs vanish before anyone realizes they're essential. A study tracks online freelancers, the skilled ones, the ones who built careers on platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. After ChatGPT launches, their opportunities collapse. The ones who earn the most see the sharpest declines. Companies discover they don't need 20 writers when AI can generate passable content. In seconds. Another study measures white-collar productivity. Workers given access to AI improve performance by 40%. 40%. That's the number that should terrify you. Because if one worker can do what used to require 1.4 workers, companies don't need 1.4 workers anymore. The World Economic Forum predicts 85 million jobs displaced globally by 2025. They also predict 97 million jobs created, a net gain of 12 million. But here's the catch. Those new jobs require master's degrees, 77% of them. 18% require doctorates. The warehouse manager in Ohio watches his team shrink from 28 to 5. The marketing assistant sees her entry-level position automated by Jasper, Copy.ai, Notion AI. The recent graduate applies to 300 jobs, never gets an interview. Realizes his degree is worthless because AI already does what he learned. Gen Z feels it first. Workers aged 18 to 24 are 129% more likely than those over 65 to fear AI will make their jobs obsolete. 49% believe AI has reduced the value of their college education. The safety net is thin. Only 36% of displaced workers globally can transition into AI-influenced roles. Retraining programs exist, but move in years. Technology evolves in months. The acceleration isn't slowing. It's compounding. By the way, if you're liking my content, consider subscribing for more action-packed stories. Let's continue.
Part 3. The Illusion. 2024 becomes the year of the AI election. 72 countries, 3.7 billion eligible voters, the largest democratic exercise in human history. And everyone fears the same thing. Deepfakes will destroy truth. The warnings are everywhere. News articles, government PSAs, celebrity endorsements. Researchers predict catastrophe. Voters won't know what's real. Democracy will collapse under the weight of synthetic media. Then, the elections happen, and the apocalypse doesn't arrive. Researchers track every AI-generated deepfake during the 2024 election cycle. 78 instances worldwide. In 39 cases, there's no deceptive intent, just candidates using AI for translation, campaign materials, satire. Traditional cheap fakes, edited videos, out-of-context clips, photoshopped images appear 7 times more often than AI-generated content. But something else happens, something more insidious. The fear itself becomes the weapon. Because now, whenever uncomfortable footage surfaces, a politician saying something damning, a leaked audio recording, damaging evidence, the response is simple. That's probably AI. Plausible deniability. Not because the technology fooled anyone, because the narrative around the technology provides cover. Trump posts AI-generated images of Taylor Swift endorsing him. Harris appears in communist garb and synthetic images. Russian disinformation campaigns flood social media with fabricated videos. None of it decisively changes election outcomes. But it doesn't need to. It erodes trust, makes everything questionable, turns reality into a choose-your-own-adventure where people believe whatever aligns with their worldview. The problem isn't that AI creates perfect deceptions. The problem is that it makes us doubt everything. By the way, if you're liking my content, consider subscribing for more action-packed stories. Let's continue. Part 4. The Watching. March 2020, Libya. A Cargo 2 drone autonomously hunts down and attacks a human target. No remote operator, no human decision in the kill chain. It might be the first time an autonomous weapon independently kills a person. It won't be the last. By 2024, the discussion shifts from hypothetical to operational. Lethal autonomous weapon systems, laws, aren't science fiction. They're deployed. Israel uses AI-guided drone swarms in Gaza. Ukraine fields loitering munitions with autonomous targeting. The U.S. launches Replicator, a Department of Defense program aiming to field thousands of autonomous systems within 18 months. The 2024 Vienna Arms Control Conference marks the first serious discussions on regulating laws. The UN General Assembly passes a resolution on autonomous weapons. 166 votes in favor, 3 opposed. Russia, North Korea, and Belarus. But regulation lags reality. The weapons already exist. Companies sell them. Militaries deploy them. The concern isn't hypothetical killer robots marching through streets. It's incremental autonomy. Systems making faster decisions than humans can process. Drone swarms coordinating attacks across multiple targets simultaneously. AI-powered targeting systems identifying threats and engaging without waiting for authorization. Researchers warn about inadvertent escalation. Autonomous systems operating at machine speed could trigger conflicts before humans understand what's happening. A misidentification, a false alarm, a split-second decision by an algorithm, and suddenly two nuclear powers are at war. And the weapons proliferate. Cheap, scalable, no rare materials required. Once militaries mass-produce autonomous weapons, they leak. Black markets, terrorist organizations, authoritarian regimes using them against their own populations. Meanwhile, in democracies, another form of AI control tightens. Facial recognition. 15 U.S. states passed laws limiting police use of facial recognition by the end of 2024. But the technology spreads faster than regulation. Airports, stadiums, public transit, retail stores. Studies show the systems are biased. Facial recognition software misidentifies people with darker skin tones at rates up to 100 times higher than white faces. Wrongful arrests follow. Lives disrupted because an algorithm made a mistake. The erosion is subtle. Privacy doesn't vanish overnight. It dies in increments. One camera, one database, one algorithmic decision at a time. The normalization of surveillance creates a chilling effect. People change behavior when they know they're watched. Avoid protests, self-censor online, stay home instead of exercising their rights. Democracy doesn't collapse with a bang. It fades. Quietly. Monitored. Controlled.
Part 5. The burning. Behind every AI query, a cost. Not just money, energy. Data centers consume 4.4% of U.S. electricity in 2023. The International Energy Agency projects that number could triple by 2028. Globally, data center electricity consumption grows 12% annually since 2017. In 2022, they consume 460 terawatt-hours. If data centers were a country, they'd rank as the 11th largest electricity consumer on Earth, between Saudi Arabia and France. Training a single large AI model like GPT-4 or Google's Gemini can consume thousands of megawatt-hours and emit hundreds of tons of carbon dioxide. But training is only the beginning. Deployment is worse. Every query you make, every image you generate, every chatbot conversation, they all require computation, servers humming 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And those servers need cooling, water, massive amounts of water evaporated to keep hardware from overheating. In Georgia, residents report problems with drinking water after a data center is built nearby. Around the Great Lakes, experts warn about the strain on regional water supplies as data centers proliferate. Meanwhile, the emissions mount. Google, Microsoft, Meta all report massive emission spikes, despite net zero pledges, because AI data centers can't rely on intermittent renewable energy. They need constant power, and constant power still means fossil fuels. Researchers calculate that AI data center emissions could more than double by 2035. Some argue AI will help solve climate change, optimize energy grids, design better solar panels, identify efficiency gains. Maybe. But right now, in 2024 and 2025, the trajectory is clear. AI is accelerating environmental destruction faster than it's solving it. And the growth isn't slowing. Every company racing to build the biggest model, the fastest inference, the most powerful system. The planet burns while algorithms learn. By the way, if you're liking my content, consider subscribing for more action-packed stories. Let's continue. Part 6. The Convergence. So how does AI take over the world? Not with a single catastrophic event, not with Skynet, not with robot armies. Through accumulation, interdependence, indispensability.
First, it becomes essential. We can't function without it. Financial markets depend on algorithmic trading. Supply chains optimize through AI logistics. Healthcare diagnoses incorporate machine learning. Education integrates AI tutors. Customer service runs on chatbots. We surrender control because the benefits feel immediate and the risks seem abstract. Second, it concentrates power. Whoever controls the most advanced AI gains disproportionate influence. Companies using AI outcompete those that don't. Nations with superior AI dominate those without. Economic inequality accelerates. The gap between AI profiteers and AI casualties widens into a chasm. Third, it becomes opaque. Deep learning models make decisions we can't explain. Black boxes operating on logic we don't understand. We trust them because they work, until they don't. Fourth, it surveils. Cameras in every public space, algorithms tracking every digital interaction, autonomous weapons monitoring every battlefield. Privacy erodes. Freedom contracts. Democracy weakens. Fifth, it disrupts ecosystems. Energy consumption soars, water supplies strain, emissions climb, electronic waste accumulates as hardware cycles through rapid obsolescence. The environment degrades while we chase computational power. And finally, it fails. Not catastrophically, not all at once, in small, compounding ways. An autonomous weapon misidentifies a target. A facial recognition system triggers a wrongful arrest. An AI-generated deepfake spreads misinformation. A biased algorithm denies someone a loan, a job, an opportunity. Each failure creates ripples, distrust, division, dysfunction. The systems we built to improve our lives become the systems that constrain them.
Part 7. The choice. But it doesn't have to be inevitable. Researchers propose solutions. AI safety institutes in the US, UK, China work to evaluate models before deployment. States pass laws limiting facial recognition. The UN debates autonomous weapons regulations. Scientists develop energy-efficient AI architectures. Some progress emerges. 15 US states restrict facial recognition surveillance. International treaties on autonomous weapons gain traction. Tech companies pledge, sometimes follow through, to use renewable energy for data centers. But the forces pushing toward unchecked AI are stronger. The economic incentives, the geopolitical competition, the relentless drive for innovation at any cost. China pursues military AI as part of its civil-military fusion doctrine. The US launches Replicator to maintain technological superiority. Private companies race to build AGI because the first to arrive reaps unimaginable rewards. Regulation moves in years. Technology evolves in months. The gap widens. And the question becomes, do we control AI or does AI control us? The answer depends on choices being made right now. Every algorithm deployed without adequate testing. Every safety measure skipped to meet a deadline. Every regulation delayed by lobbying. We're not passive observers. We're active participants. By the way, if you're liking my content, consider subscribing for more action-packed stories. Let's continue. Epilogue. The Call. January 23, 2024. Those 5,000 phone calls in New Hampshire. The deepfake. The deception. The $6 million fine. It should have been a wake-up call. A moment when society collectively said, enough. We need guardrails. Instead, it became a footnote, a news cycle, a brief scandal before everyone moved on to the next AI breakthrough, the next innovation, the next disruption. Because that's how the takeover happens, not through dramatic invasions, through normalization. Every time we accept a little less privacy, a little more surveillance, a few more jobs automated, a bit more environmental damage, another autonomous weapon deployed, another election influenced. We adjust, adapt, tell ourselves it's progress. Until one day we look around and realize we don't recognize this world anymore. The jobs are gone. The truth is unknowable. The weapons are autonomous. The surveillance is total. The planet is exhausted. And the systems we built, the algorithms, the models, the infrastructure, they're embedded so deeply we can't extract them without collapsing everything. That's the reckoning. Not a moment of sudden catastrophe. A slow-motion transformation. Gradual, inevitable. Unless we choose differently. Right now. Today. Because the AI takeover isn't coming. It's here. The only question is, what do we do about it? Fade to black. Sources and context. This documentary draws from extensively researched real-world events and verified data. Election deepfakes. The January 2024 New Hampshire robot call incident. Research showing 78 documented deepfake instances globally in 2024 elections. Findings that traditional cheap fakes appeared 7 times more often than AI-generated content. Job displacement. Documented layoffs of 77,999 people in early 2024. Studies showing 40% productivity increases with AI tools. World Economic Forum projections of 85 million jobs displaced by 2025. Autonomous weapons. The March 2020 Kargu 2 incident in Libya. The 2024 Vienna Arms Control Conference. UN General Assembly Resolution 166-3-15 vote. U.S. Department of Defense Replicator Program. Surveillance. 15 U.S. states with facial recognition restrictions as of end 2024. NIST studies showing up to 100 times higher error rates for Black and Asian faces. Widespread deployment in airports, transit, and retail. Environmental impact. Data centers consuming 4.4% of U.S. electricity in 2023. IEA projections of potential tripling by 2028. Global consumption of 460 terawatt-hours in 2022, and reports of water supply issues in Georgia and concerns around the Great Lakes region. All statistics, events, and trends are grounded in documented research from authoritative sources, including the International Energy Agency, World Economic Forum, United Nations, academic institutions, and investigative journalism.
So if you're thinking like me, nuke that like button and subscribe for more videos like this.